Welcome to CUNTY Life and Biz Realness, the uncensored show that explores how to live your truest life, what tries to get in the way, and how to grow your business as a result. I know you want to be more courageous, unapologetic, notable, transcendent, and authentically you, and you're in the right place, babe. I'm your host who's the most, Naomi, CEO and head life and biz authenticity coach at CUNTY Coaching. Let's dive in. Buckle your seatbelts, my friends, because today is a feisty one. I feel like I'm always feisty, but today we are tackling the concept of ROI, or return on investment. And I'm feeling really passionate about this topic right now, especially as I start to discover and peel apart the toxic hustle culture that I've been taught and that we're steeped in, the very hyper-masculine business world that we're in, and start to discover some more ways of infusing feminine energy into how I look at business, how I run business, and infusing more joy and balance into business, what that can look like for me and what that can look like for you. So today we're talking about return on investment. It all started when I remember I was gearing up for an event and I was feeling really nervous about it. And I was telling a friend about it, and she said, make sure you get an ROI. And those words have always stuck with me and almost tried to haunt me because, yeah, of course, in business, we want to make money, right? We want to be growing, because if you're not growing, you're quote unquote failing, right? But what I want to talk to you about today is, can we expand and get really creative and open and curious about what ROI can mean? So for me, there are investments that I've made that, no, I haven't gotten a tangible financial ROI on yet. And I know for a fact there are so many other people, maybe you, who can resonate with this. And overall, I feel this sense of shame and embarrassment and guilt in the collective, right? That I made a bad decision, I made a bad investment, all this stuff, it can feel so emotionally charged and heavy, right? Because that's when we are valuing finances over other things, right? When we are valuing dollars and cents over other things, of course, if we don't see financial return on our investment yet, because the investment was probably big and we were probably nervous about it, it was a big deal for us. If we haven't seen the return on it yet, I know that it can feel really tough. It can feel like you're failing. It can feel like it was a waste. There are so many feelings and thoughts and bullshit that can come up about those investments, right? And I'm saying this too because as a coach, I have offerings that are an investment for people. It's not all, low ticket offerings. I do have some low ticket offerings, but a lot of it is high investment offerings, because the transformation and the engagement that I have with you to help you in those transformations is massive. So I get it. I know that when you work with me, you are making an investment in yourself as well. And same with a lot of other businesses that we engage in. It's often an investment. I do want to say as well that when you make the initial investment, whether it's with me or another business owner in some way, shape, or form, that is the first assignment. That is the first act that you do, and it is absolutely part of your growth journey. It is part of the work. It's the very first step, because it signals to yourself, it signals that you believe in yourself enough to make that decision, that you believe that you can do it, that you believe that you deserve a pattern interrupt or some kind of change, some kind of transformation. You deserve it, and you're putting your money where your mouth is, and you're actually doing it. That is the first step, my friends. So never, never forget that. It's never just a one-way money going out of your account. It is energetically, you are putting energy into yourself by making that payment, making that investment. The thing is that thinking of ROI solely as financial is a trap, right? That is a very hyper masculine, oversimplified way of looking at things. I know there are people who decide everything based solely on the financial ROI that they can calculate easily, right? If I pay this person this amount of dollars and I make this amount of dollars in return in this amount of time, then I got my ROI. And sure, if that's what floats your boat, then go for it, right? Like, you do what works for you. I want to offer, if that doesn't work for you, if you are feeling like that is very restrictive or that's sucking your soul, right? Like, there might be things that you feel called to do in your life, in your business, that you don't know what the exact ROI is going to be yet, but you feel called to it for some reason. You feel like a connection, or that this person understands you, or that this can have some profound effect on your life, this offering you want to launch, but you don't necessarily know what the ROI is going to be yet. I want us to think about how many things you will get that will never have a number value, right? Of course, we can extrapolate and try and come up with a number value, but a lot of things are incalculable. Like learnings you will get. You don't know. You don't know right now what learnings you're going to get from that scary investment that you're trying to make. What about experience, right? What kind of experience is it going to bring for you that is invaluable for your next level? What confidence is going to be unlocked because you took the risk? You bet on yourself. That's how you build confidence, is continually betting on yourself and believing in yourself and putting yourself in the arena, right? Belief in yourself and proof that you're capable of more than you think. And this is like a proven fact. I went to an event on the weekend, and a lot of what the speakers talked about and showed with interactive sessions was that we humans are capable of more than we think we are in a lot of cases, right? Not all the time, but in a lot of cases. What about the lives you're going to change? How do you calculate that, right? You can't. You can't. Wisdom that you're going to gain, the freedom that you're going to gain when you realize, oh my God, I did that and I can do that, and I'm liberated. I didn't think I could do that, but now I know and I see that sure, I can do it. Maybe it didn't have the dollars ROI that I thought, but I can do that. I'm free. Proof of concept. If we don't do the thing, we're never going to know that it's possible or that it could work. Again, even if the dollars and cents don't make all the sense right now, it's proof of concept. What about exposure? You can't quantify in numbers on a balance sheet the value of the exposure that you'll have, the networking, the opportunities, the people you'll connect with, the rooms that your name will be spoken in that you don't even know about yet. You can't quantify that. And the ripple effects that you'll have, you don't know. You can't quantify that. So I say all this to show us the hidden trap of the traditional ROI. It robs us of so many of these less calculable, less tangible things that we will get when we bet on ourselves. Right? For me right now, that looks like planning and running and selling this CUNTY retreat. This is a huge risk. And right now on paper, yes, I'll be honest with you. Right now, I still have spots available. And so the financial ROI is not what it could be, right? But you won't even believe if I tell you how much this is changing me and challenging me and making me grow and making me dig deep into myself and believe in myself and believe that my right clients are coming. I can't even quantify what this experience is giving me. And the retreat hasn't even happened yet. Imagine when the retreat happens. Imagine after the retreat, what happens, right? Like there is so much. And just the fact that I went for it, that's not, you can't even quantify on paper what that's worth. And that taps in again to that whole like belief in yourself, proof of concept, freedom. That's all really valuable ROI to consider, especially if you are here and you're an entrepreneur or leader or creator or somebody who wants to open your mind to new possibilities of what business can be outside of maybe just the limited definition that we've been taught. I really want us to free ourselves. I'm sick and tired of oversimplified, over-masculinized business that makes me feel sucked, like my soul sucked out of me. I don't know about you, but there's not a lot of room for magic and joy and happiness and fulfillment if I were just to really stay in the masculine of business. I would not be happy. And I haven't been, because I have been super steeped in all of it and super just brainwashed with of what's important and what is a failure, what's not a failure, what's a return on investment, what's not. It was not healthy for me. I'm sharing this today in so much honesty. You know I'm always going to bring the realness with you because I know there's someone out there who feels the same way, who feels like a failure simply because they have a return on investment that they're not even valorizing because it's not the one that we've been taught to value. I know there are people out there that are feeling this way. And that is robbing us of our power. Because when we start to open our mind to other forms of ROI, we start to take our power back and we start to follow our heart more and we start to follow what really matters. Yes, money and finances really matter. Don't get me wrong. Please don't get me wrong. Yes, I want your business to grow. Yes, I want you to make money. But we can't be robbing ourselves of those other super, super important things as well. And free ourselves to run our businesses the ways that feel good, not just financially. Not just financially. I am a life and business alignment coach. It would not be in integrity with me if I did not preach and believe in business that can free you more than just financially. I want it to liberate your life and your joy and your fulfillment and your dreams. Those are so important. So let's start by expanding what we think of when we think of ROI. And you define your own ROI and expand that definition even more. Try to find even more expanded definitions of ROI for yourself. Because again, I have definitely fallen into this trap where I was hyper-focused, hyper-fixated on the numbers and the fact that it felt like I was failing. The math wasn't mathing on paper. And I got really stressed and really depressed and hard on myself and just closed down. Got sick. There's so many ways that I was beating myself up. And it's taken quite a bit of grace and self-compassion and love and healing myself to open my eyes and open my mind up to the fact that A, I've already had ROI on this experience that I'm not valorizing enough, and B, there's so much more I can even tap into. There is so much more I can still have that is a return on this investment of time, money, heart, soul. There is so much return that I still get to have if I allow myself to, if I open my mind up to it. That's freedom. Freedom to define it for ourselves. Freedom to make mistakes and not beat ourselves up about it as much because we can always find an ROI of some kind. That is power. That is freedom. And especially for us historically marginalized folks, I want to talk about return on the investment in yourself. Like investing in yourself. If you think about it, when are we ever taught to invest in ourselves? Maybe with post-secondary education, right? You go to school for something that you're going to get a good job in and you're going to make that money back, right? That's what we're taught. Fine. But as historically marginalized folks, we're not even always encouraged or taught to do that. We don't have representation in highly esteemed institutions and schools. We're not represented. That isn't necessarily for us per se, right? We're seen as like heroes or exceptions to the rules and like, wow, look what she did, or they or he or whatever, because we're not the norm. So that's one kind of crappy example of when we're taught to invest in ourselves, maybe. But other than that, I really can't think of a lot of ways, which is sad, right? So we're not taught to invest in ourselves. And then what happens is that manifests in our mind as, I'm not worth investing in. I'm not worth investing in. I'm not worthy. I'm not a worthy investment. And then that manifests as, I don't trust myself to get a return on this. I don't trust myself to make something of this. I don't trust myself. I don't believe in myself that I'm going to become even more powerful, that I do deserve to become more powerful and invest in myself this way. And so when we're not encouraged to do that, in fact, quite the opposite, we're actually taught like not to. What does it do? It keeps the power in the same hands that it's always been in our society. So it's all by design, right? The power distribution is all by design. So when we don't trust ourselves enough to invest in ourselves, what do? We trust everyone else. We trust the experts. We trust the institutions. We trust the powers that be, the wise men, and we pay them. We invest in them. They obviously know what they're talking about. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know. Maybe you could know. Maybe you would know if we were taught to trust ourselves and taught to listen to ourselves and believe in ourselves and invest in ourselves. This is not just lip service. I'm not just saying this as a coach, honestly. I'm saying this as someone who needs to hear this themselves. That yes, you are a worthy investment. The investments that you have made in yourself are worthy investments and you are worthy of them. Yes, even if you haven't seen the financial ROI on it yet, you're not a failure. You're not unworthy. You didn't make a mistake. And another thing that happens a lot is, okay, we make the investment. We're terrified, but we do it, right? In some cases, we do it. A lot of times, and I don't know if you can relate to this, but I can, and I'm being so real right now, is like we invest and then we self-sabotage. Why? Because we have that subconscious belief that we're not worthy investments, that we're going to fail, that we're not going to get an ROI, whatever it is, that is the subconscious or maybe even conscious thought. So we sabotage ourselves so that we keep giving ourselves the proof that, see, I knew it. I wasn't a worthy investment in myself. I knew it. I can't do it. I can't follow through on what I say I'm going to follow through on. I see it a lot in our communities where we keep certifying ourselves in different things, right? That certifying ourselves is an investment in ourselves, similar to, seeking higher education, all that. But then we don't put it into practice. We don't act on it. We don't believe in ourselves enough that once the certification is done and once we've finished being the student, that we can then take it and become a teacher in a way, right? It's that transferal of power that we often get stuck in. We stay the students. We stay in that power dynamic because it's familiar. We're not the expert. We pay the experts and we just consume the information like the good students we are, and then we sabotage and we don't always act on it. We don't believe in ourselves that we can act on it. I see this all the time, unfortunately. And I've felt it myself. Or we think, I invested in this program or this thing and they didn't give me all the answers I was looking for. So how could I possibly do this? Right? That's where some victim mentality comes in, where we think that, like, again, that person or that institution or whatever it is has all the answers. We have none. We are powerless. They need to give us all of the information and all of the things so that we can get that ROI and succeed right away. No, the part that they don't tell us, the part that we need to learn, and I'm helping you right now with it, is that we have to believe in ourselves. We have to act, and we have to take risks, take chances. We have to believe that we are worthy. We have to believe that we have answers inside of ourselves if we would just fucking stop for a second and listen and ask ourselves before asking Google. You know what I mean? We need to slow down the consumption wheel. We need to slow it down and we need to tap into ourselves, build that trust in ourselves, listen to ourselves. And when we're not seeing an ROI, rather than looking outside of ourselves or blaming someone or whatever it is, look inside yourself and get really real and really honest. Say, how can I trust myself right now to do what I need to do next? Or ask yourself, what do I want to do next? Not what should I ask someone else to tell me to do next? And this takes me into my next point. If you don't do this already, I need you to start doing it immediately. And this is for me as well. Everything I tell you, I tell myself. You need to start seeing yourself as your biggest asset to your business. Start seeing yourself as your biggest asset to your business. It's not the marketing. It's not the sales. It's not the programming. It's not the fancy software that you swear by. It's you, friend. Yes, even if you have a stellar team that runs the show, you are still the biggest asset to your business. Every business needs a strong leader. Without a strong leader, it is chaos. If you are not treating yourself accordingly, it's going to manifest in different ways. How would you start acting and how would you start treating yourself if you saw yourself as the biggest asset to your business? I want you to think about that. What would you do differently, or how would you treat yourself? How would you allow yourself to move through the world? How would you be if you believed that you were the most precious resource and asset for your business? And this ties back into ROI, right? Return on investment. If whatever your biggest asset in your business is, you'd invest in it, right? You'd invest in it because it's going to strengthen it even more. It's going to ensure that you keep growing and going on the right direction. So I want you to start treating yourself like the beautiful, valuable gem that you are. And not only in your business, in your life. Without you, your life is not the same. It's not worthwhile if you're not in it. You are the most valuable asset in your life. It's not what you produce. It's not your roles. It's not what you can get done, your productivity, the hours in a day that you put in work. It's not how good of a daughter, wife, spouse, partner, CEO, whatever the roles are. In your life, you are the most valuable. Who you are really. That is amplified when you treat yourself well. The more you nurture yourself and pour into yourself, that's the words that I'm using lately, is just pouring into yourself and not be a leaky hose like me, in the sense that maybe I was trying to pour into myself, but then there was holes and I would just keep pouring it out into others and I would not keep any for me. That's not what I'm talking about. Pour into yourself, plug up the holes, and then that will flow. It will flow and it will go where it needs to go, and you will be who you need to be. You will be stronger. Imagine you have a hose, right? And there's holes. The water pressure is going to be shit because your holes, like the water's leaking everywhere. At the end of the hose, you're not going to have much water pressure there, if any. But if you plug up those holes, then you're going to have that really strong water pressure at the end, right? So this is a really good analogy. So I want you to plug up those holes, nurture yourself, pour into yourself, see yourself as a being, not a doing. You're not a human doing, you're a human being, and I want you to see yourself accordingly to that. And you will see yourself start to feel more strong, more creative, more connected, more thriving when you tap into the being and you start from within and you pour into yourself and you value yourself like the fucking gem that you are. Even if right now you feel like coal, okay? I've been there very, very recently. I promise you that if you start to treat yourself like a gem and just give yourself grace and compassion and love, then you'll give yourself those conditions and you'll start to treat yourself the way that a gem should be treated, and you will become a gem from the coal. You will become the diamond that you see, that you want to be, and that you see yourself as deep down. Maybe you're just not allowing yourself to be that right now. Maybe you're telling yourself that you'll be a gem once you achieve XYZ, but it's not. You'll be the gem once you allow yourself to be it and you pour yourself into it so that you have the conditions to be it and become it. So start from within. Start seeing yourself and your work in the highest light. Start investing in yourself like the truest, best asset that you are. And not because of your productivity, but because of who you are at your core and who you can be when you are at your best, when you're at your most thriving, most nourished. That person is magical. That person is magnetic. So when you align yourself with this and see yourself like this and treat yourself like this, the financial ROI will follow. Because again, yes, I want you to make money. It will follow when you treat yourself well. When you value your peace, your well-being, your thriving, your essence, your energy. The tangible will follow. So to end off this episode, I want to tap back into you, the person who feels like maybe you've failed, or maybe that you've made a poor decision in the business sense, or you're questioning yourself. I want to wrap around back to the beginning, and I want to ask you to expand your mind. Challenge yourself to find more than just that financial ROI. Or if you're in the middle of a really hard time, which I know so many of us are, take a break, pour into yourself as the biggest asset that you are, and challenge yourself to see more than the numbers of what you have done and what you are still capable of doing. Because you are so powerful and you are capable of more than you think, and you are worth more than the numbers on the page, on the balance sheet. I love you so much. Keep on shining. Thank you so much for listening to CUNTY Life and Biz Realness today. Someone in your circle needs to hear this. Can you share it and leave a review on Apple Podcast so this CUNTY movement can grow? And don't forget to tag me on Instagram at Naomi_authentically. I appreciate you so much and cannot wait to connect with you. You can always head over to cuntycoaching.com to work with me, join my events, my CUNTY email chronicles, and more. I hope you have a fulfilling week, and I can't wait to talk to you next week. This is your CUNTY coach, Naomi, signing off.